Upon meeting with Imral Maith Elazadril, the ancient plains-walker and advisor to the true king and queen of Sidariel to Lith'Lian, the party have been informed of the shocking news that Gudael's brother, Ren Talandaran, a captain, has been arrested as a traitor to the Black Guard and has been jailed near Hemeth Tirith at an ancient prison site called the Sufferance, a place used to banish the most wicked and wretched enemies of the state. What is known is that Gudael's father is the High Commander of the feared Black Guard, and enemy of the Companion's new benefactors, the Servants of the Fox. This very faction, the Black Guard, is known across the highways and byways of the world as an elite, oath-bound militia, sworn to the cruel and unjust usurper king, Ivran Erethanai of the High Elves. A king who has burned villages to the ground, seeking any blood relative that might threaten his position. It seems only Gudael is aware of her father's notoriety, I should say unaware of her father's notoriety, as the iron fist of their oppressor, a supreme villain of the elven nations. But Gudael is not the only one tied to the Erethanai bloodline, besides their new exiled king. Milford Brixton, born Mizalaran Idris Erethanai, also has connections he is not so keen to have known. As for Adrik, he seems to have found solace in the shine that he has taken to the young Zinn, the drow boy they collected in the Underdark. Yes, the one that initially betrayed them. Leith, young Leith, is happy to be breathing fresh air and out from the suffocating place below. But Edryn, as Edryn prepared to sleep his first good sleep for days, laying in his cot in the safety of the elven pavilion, Edryn had a vision, a frightful dream of an ancient tome, the Book of Twisted Skin, as he once called it, a book of lichdom and necromancy, and with it a hated figure, Hamir. "Enjoying my stolen spells, are you, you fatted lump of puke?" he seemed to say, and all of that before drowning in the darkness of a restless sleep. Welcome to the Vaingate Chronicles. I'm Russell Kirkby, and I'd like to introduce Barry Tahira as Milford Brixton, Steve Austin as Leith Mistralath, Joanna Grotenhouse as, what a name, here we go, Gudael Dala Talandaran, Max Easy as Edryn Montcoff, and Michael Bache as Adrik Fogdar. You people are all asleep in your cots in the pavilion amongst the elves on the Isle of Shadows, and you begin to wake up. And Edryn, you might not have had the greatest sleep, but you all generally wake up around about the same time. You're in the same pavilion. Do you wish to do anything?
Adrik's going to wake up and he's going to crack his back, and it sounds like someone's slinging a sack full of gravel at a car.
Right.
That does not sound terribly healthy, Adrik.
You're right. I shouldn't be sleeping on these
Oh,
soft
could
cots.
you two shut up? I'm trying to sleep.
You're awake now, though.
No, 'cause of you two.
Well, you may as well get up and make yourself useful.
Oh, all right.
That is a good man. Adrik goes back to bed.
Well, outside you can smell the smells of food being prepared. You can hear the tinkering and the clinging of cups and plates and cutlery and such things in the feasting pavilion, not far from your own large tent. So those smells are kind of filtering through here. You see silhouettes passing along the sides of the tent fabric from your positions too.
So, I'm up. Where is he? Where the hell is he?
What do you want, Brixton?
Who are you
Where the
looking
hell
for,
are
Milford?
you?
I'm in bed. What are you doing?
You woke me up and now you're in bed.
Aye?
I'm gonna go and get a bucket of water. I am.
I think a sleep-in for you all is perfectly reasonable. I mean, I don't need it, but the rest of you,
Oh, you keep saying that. I don't need sleep. I don't need sleep. I don't need sleep. Oh,
well, I don't.
No, you don't need sleep.
Well, I don't. I haven't
Have you
slept
tried?
all night. It won't do any good.
I mean, that's not a yes or no.
I mean,
Have you tried?
I'm perfectly rested, just sitting in the middle of the floor. So
You can't be perfectly rested sitting in the middle of the floor.
What do you
don't
do?
believe me, then, Adrik.
It's not a comfortable floor, is it? Are we going to go to the mess?
No,
Aren't you going to go to the mess?
I was considering it. Yes, because I'm not. I'm not beyond the realms of hunger. So if you want me to pick you up anything, and you sleep in, be my guest.
No, Brixton's already made a racket, so we may as well go get food.
But I've made the racket. I've made the racket. No, I'm so sorry, your lordship.
You're all is forgiven, Brixton. All is fine.
Let's go and get something to eat then. Hey, where's the other lordship?
Edryn?
No. Edryn,
Apparently
where's he
in the
gone?
corner, hunched over a book, like rapidly writing.
Edryn, there be food over that way.
Did you sleep at all last night?
Yes, I'm not particularly hungry either, so if you wouldn't mind picking me up a sausage or a potato or bread or something, I'm rather happy in the pavilion, if you wouldn't mind.
It would be my pleasure.
Where's
Thank you, Leith.
Where's what's her new name now?
Dala?
Dala. Yeah, where's Dala now then?
She's been up and she's doing sword forms and doing ritual type things.
Right. Seems reasonable.
Do we see her doing this, Russell, when we come out?
You can make a perception check. Am I making that on your behalf?
You are making that on my behalf, remember?
All right.
This time.
Let's see how that goes. So, you rolled a 23, Mr. Tahira. So, yeah, you see her doing that. You also notice another slim figure wandering between the tents. A feminine-looking elf crossing between the tents that you've might have glimpsed once before. She has very ornate-looking robes and things on, and is dressed like somewhere between a rogue and a magic user. Hard to say exactly what she is. She's got bits of jewelry hung around her neck. It's all very unconventional for an elf.
Okay.
Teeth and things hanging on necklaces and stuff like this, and her hair is twisted up into two buns that curl back almost like horns on her head. Her face is painted with makeup, purple and blue and black. She glances over in your direction for a moment, and you see these piercing eyes sum you up briefly, and then she disappears around the corner. Then you see Gudael practicing.
Okay, that looks too much like hard work to me. What's that? What do you do? What's that mean? I mean, is that got a name, like hanging sword in air or something?
Good morning, Milford. Yes.
Oh, it's an alright morning. I wouldn't say it's a good one. These buggers woke me up and then accused me of waking them up. You know what I mean?
Yes, I could hear from out here the commotion.
Yeah, you know that Adrik, he makes a lot of commotion for one fella. Yeah. Are you going to come and have something to eat, or are you going to do some more of that ballet?
No, Gudael sheathes her sword, and I'll come with you for some breakfast. That sounds like a good idea.
This way, your ladyship. And he does an over-exaggerated bow and everything,
Right. Gudael curtsies then in her
Gudael, as you head into the pavilion where the food is being served, breakfast and what have you, can you make an insight check? Wow.
That would be
21.
Ooh.
Okay, well, what you notice as you head in is that a number of the lords and ladies who are milling about here, and also the servants, don't seem to be making as much eye contact with you as usual. They seem to be a little bit shy of you. One of the servant girls who has frequently assisted you since you've been among these people is kind of being a bit coy. Yeah. But in any case, you go in and it's kind of like a buffet style, and you can go and grab yourself some plates and bowls of food and things, and you begin to get yourself some food here. You see Bragan sitting in a chair, currently facing out onto the water of the lake, down towards the boats. And you see steam rising from his bowl at the small table that he's sitting at. His back to you. He's wearing a sort of red and blue top right now with slashes in the arms and the actual shirt arms. Seems like a style thing.
Leith is standing at the buffet table, laying out 2 plates with bits of very nicely with bits of fruit and oats and things like that.
Okay. Very cool. Edryn?
Adrik is overlaying. I'm so sorry, I cut right in there because I thought there was silence.
No, go.
Good.
Adrik is cajoling Zinn and convincing him to lay his plate up a bit more. You need to eat a bit more if you're going to grow big enough to take back your city, Zinn.
I'm not sure I'm going to like this food, and it's very bright out here.
You'll get used to it, lad.
I need a hat of some description. Do you have hats?
We can get you a hat. That's not a problem. But
it's so bright.
For someone that ate just rotting black fish, you've got a problem with everything else. Just try it.
Well, all right, I'll try it, but I'm not sure. It tastes strange to me. What is that flavor?
That's bacon.
Bacon? What is bacon? That's like...
You know, it's. I'll tell you later. It's better you don't know just yet. But one thing I'll tell you, it's much fresher than the fish you had downstairs.
What do you have to kill to make bacon?
Pigs. Or you can make bacon out of most things, but yeah, typically it's pigs.
Okay, interesting.
That over there's wheat cakes, and that's a grapefruit, filled with antioxidants, great for the blood.
What is Mr. Lith'Lian eating over there? What are those circular things? They sound crunchy.
Those are eggs, and I really wish that Brixton had taken the shells off. He knows better than that.
Crunchy eggs?
Well, they're hard boiled, so they're soft on the insides, but Brixton's neglected to take off the shell. You generally have to shell them.
That's interesting. Okay. Brixton, apparently you're totally incompetent at eating eggs.
I may or may not be lying to Zinn.
That's true.
I'm not taking... Listen here, you. If I want to have my eggs this way, I've got this idea, you see. I'm going to put it in this little thing over here. Then I'm going to crack the top. And one day people are going to get used to doing it this way. And then I'm going to eat it from inside, you see, after I've cracked the top. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I'm going to call it something.
Edryn.
I am still in our sleeping pavilion.
Leith at this
writing
point,
and scribbling.
Okay.
Leith has left the table and has gone upstairs to join Edryn with a very small plate, very well manicured, like it's from a restaurant quality. Just a little pick of an apricot and a little
Oh my
bit
God.
of oats and
Right.
and just seasoned it nicely and taken it up to Edryn.
Okay.
Here you are, sir.
Oh.
I hope this is adequate.
Oh yes, thank you, Leith, for your care about it. And I have a few mouthfuls before I kind of push it aside, and Tup just descends on it,
Oh.
Right.
just
Oh.
like that.
Oh, if I'd have known you were wanting to feed Tup as well, I would have got him a little.
Oh, he's all right
A
with
little
that.
bowl.
He's only a wee little thing.
Quick
Oh,
reminder
he's only
for
a
the
wee little
audience,
thing.
what
He
does
can have my
Tup look like?
scraps.
A quick-
Tup currently is in badger form.
So we have a badger. Right.
Little honey badger.
Right. Okay, so the badger is devouring all of this carefully chosen and selected food that you've placed on this plate, Leith, and Edryn's kind of ignoring it.
I have had a few mouthfuls, but
Okay.
I'm not it's hard to have an appetite after
The things you've
everything.
seen.
Yes, it's hard to have an appetite after everything. So thank you for the food, and I know Tup really appreciates having something.
That's not
Fresh.
a problem. You're very welcome.
Right. Okay. And Gudael, what are you doing?
Gudael's gotten herself a bowl of porridge, and she's gone over to Bragan. She's going to brave talking to His Royal Highness.
Right. So you come around the side of his chair, I assume, and he looks over to you, and he stands, and he puts down his bowl. He straightens off his shirt and straightens up his clothes. Good day, madam, he says. You have my deepest sympathies about your brother.
Oh, yes. Well, he's still alive. That's one thing.
Do you have any plans to see him?
I should very much like to. It is on the top of my mind and heart to go and rescue him. I'm very mindful, however, that it must be done quite carefully.
It will have to be done very carefully, because this is the sufferance that you speak of. The sufferance is the prison that is the single most difficult prison to ever escape from in the world.
Yes, and I fear that a rescue attempt may be expected.
Why do you say that?
My father knows that I'm particularly fond of my brother Ren, and
Are you usually taken for someone that breaks people out of prisons? Is that something that you've done in the past?
no, I haven't. However, as a child, I would take risks to protect my brother, and he for me as well.
I could understand that, yes. So you think that he might suspect that you could potentially try something like that?
I believe that if he thought there may be a rescue attempt, he would expect that it would be me that would be involved.
Curious. What if you were to belay his fears by visiting with him?
Perhaps
He might not
having-
even know that you know about this at this point. It's not public knowledge. It's not as if Ren is a high-ranking officer that every single member of the community would have heard about.
true. I hadn't considered that. Yes, I could go and visit Father.
What perhaps could be useful for you, just as my own personal observation, is that you could look into the situation, perhaps a trip to Highbrook. See what the political situation is like, the landscape there. Perhaps you can ask to make a visit with your brother. Speak with your father.
Yes. Yes, that could work.
And then perhaps if you were able to get to speak to your brother, then you could leave him some sort of message of hope.
Is it usual for the prisoners in the sufferance to have visitors.
Not frequently, that's for sure. But you could beg. There are some reasons, if you could find legitimate reasons to travel inside the sufferance, perhaps there are some.
Yes, I thank you for these ideas, your lordship.
Of course, anything I can do to help you. If there is any resource I can offer you, I, of course, will do my best. You have pledged your fealty to us under the most difficult and absurd conditions, I admit. So, if we can help you, then we thank you.
I believe, for the first time in a long time, I'm on the right side.
That is nice to hear. I hope so. I hope that I can make it worthy and worthwhile for you. Well, have you had breakfast? I do suggest you eat.
Yes, I'll get to that now.
Very well. Maith comes wandering in at that point too. He goes directly across through the pavilion, past everybody, directly to Bragan. And he puts a hand on Bragan's shoulder and they exchange a long glance. And then they both turn and Bragan says, "You'll have to forgive me, I have business to attend to." And they leave together. Brixton, what are you doing?
After a great deal of thought, Brixton has finally discovered that everybody already knows his egg trick. It's not unusual. Apparently lots of people do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, with that, he's just eating his egg.
Okay. All right. So is eating your egg, and Zinn comes over to you. So, excuse me, Mr. Brixton, this is an egg, I assume. Do you know what kind of egg this is?
This is a boiled egg.
I see. And where did it come from, is more my question.
It came from a thing called a chicken.
I see. I think I've heard of these chickens.
Yes, they're female bird-like things that lay eggs.
I see. We do have some odd birds underground in the Underdark too, but they're very rare, and some of them are... they don't lay the best eggs. People don't really eat them.
Oh. Okay, well, while you're here, you should learn and do as much as you can.
We do eat lizard eggs, though.
Oh, you know, I've never done that. What's that taste like?
Oh, there's very nice lizard eggs, yes.
Ooh, ooh.
They're little tiny ones, and you open them and there's all the goo, it comes out, and it's, oh my goodness.
Well, you can do the same with these ones, you know. Just experiment with every food you see. That way you'll be able to find out what you like and what you don't like.
How do you stand all the light out here?
Or, you know, some people have trouble with light, so, you know, they just keep out of it as much as they can.
Well, I suppose that's a solution, yes.
Get in the shade, you know. You know,
Right.
and sometimes some people have something over their eyes that they can still see, but it stops the bright light from getting to their eyes.
Is that why Master Maith wears the cloth across his face?
It could be. It could be. I haven't asked him personally. There are several reasons people can be wearing things over their eyes.
I see. Very well. Edryn.
Yes. Hello.
Edryn. So what are you specifically doing now?
I'm still just making notes and scribbling in my book.
Right.
My notebook. Rather almost manically.
All right.
Just
Right.
kind of just going ham at it.
All
That's
right.
currently what he's doing this morning.
Maith appears behind you. you hear a crunch of a footstep, and you see just enough to notice a red booted foot out of the corner of your eye.
Good morning, Maith, Mr. Lord Maith.
Good morning.
You have a good trance last night?
Yes, disturbing.
Oh, why for?
You too seem to be disturbed.
The island is not. I don't like large bodies of water, as you already know. So the island, the trip over was not exactly restful.
I see.
The trip back over from the mainland. So, what was your particular trance? Why was it such an issue?
He moves a little closer to you and he says, "Tell me more about your books."
The one I currently, my first one is just an odd book I picked up from a secondhand shop. It had a few already inscribed, so I thought I'd practice it. And then this one here was something I got from an elf called Hazeldrill. It was in Vaingate, and it was a gift for our thievery.
The exile Hazeldrill gave you this.
Oh. Didn't realize he was an exile. Yes, I suppose if you know of him, he gave it to me as a thanks for our hard work. We got given other things as well, but this was one of them, and it has come in handy with certain capabilities.
I see. Interesting. And tell me more about the book you found in Vaingate.
Oh, the big table. That was it was a big book with a demonish giant face, leather bound, and it seemed to kind of move by itself in a way. It seemed to had the ability to unlock itself, and unless someone else was able to do that, but I don't think anyone did.
Where is this book now?
It's currently under the protection of the Daughters of Twilight. Along with what we thought was the Crown of Aya, but it turns out that is currently on the ship, as you know, because you told us.
I see. So...
Are you...
Have you tested or looked or examined this Crown of Aya yourself?
Not personally. Leith had a little investigation about it. He knew it was the Crown of Aya and was related to hang on a second, Mr. Darien, as you obviously know, the Lich. I'm getting there, apologies, I have a... There we go. Zebasius Israel Darien.
Zebasius
evidently...
Israel Darien, yes?
Yes, who also owned the book. So... Or at least authored the original version of the book. I think due to its sheer size, I don't think he penned that specific version, but probably that someone else of giant size did a copy or something like that. Or maybe he made it big. I'm not entirely sure. We have not examined this Crown of Aya, to put it simply. Have you?
I have not had the chance as of yet, but I am very curious about these objects. I was wondering if perhaps we could examine the crown together.
If you'd like to, I'm more than happy to help. I didn't think you a mage such as yourself would need my my help.
Well,
and I'm rather inexperienced compared to you, or in general, really.
You are interested in studying and in furthering your magic, I assume?
Yes, mainly the studying part. It's very interesting. I mean, this thing obviously hasn't been seen in quite a long time, so it'd be quite an honor to be able to make notes about it, about something that hasn't been seen for the past few millennia.
Perhaps you and your companion, Leith Mistralath, would like to work together with me on this subject.
Yes, I'm sure we could ask Leith. He was a little bit.
I think I'm still in the
About the
room,
books.
actually, aren't I?
You're still in
Yes.
the room, Leith?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yes, I
Oh.
think you were a bit off about the books, weren't you, Leith? You weren't exactly keen to have that around.
Well, it looks as dangerous as it seems. I was getting very bad vibes off
Oh,
it.
there is no doubt it is dangerous indeed.
Uh.
Terribly dangerous. However, there is a situation that is arising here in Sedariel of late that may require desperate measures.
Oh?
There are armies
What's that about?
marching. There are concerns of factions warring, and what way to best and most quickly take some form of power.
Oh, Leith, Maith, I think you forgive this from coming from a human of all things, but that seems a very slapdash way to go about it. I mean, we're not entirely sure what this thing is. It belonged to a very powerful, dangerous entity, and I think to put it to use against rather I don't want to say trivial, but rather material kind of issues. It seems a bit
Doesn't it?
dangerous.
Perhaps you're right.
I mean, if it was something like Sehanine Moonbow, maybe. I mean, I think that'd be worth the risk. But if it's Dagdagiel invading Vaingate that we're worried about, I don't think turning to such dark powers is particularly good idea. I'm still happy to help study it.
Do you think
and I'm
perhaps
sure
that
Leith
would be
is-
a misappropriation of the use of that sort of power?
Well, not misappropriation, but just I mean, it's an artifact, I assume, heavily linked, if not made by a very horrible man, and I'm sure it has a lot of things about it. People seem to leave things, if you catch my meaning, footprints in a spiritual way.
Interesting that you should have such strong opinions.
Might we be able to have some sort of protections to be able to,
Of course.
at least approach the item and interact with it?
I would suggest
I'm still
that
very
you
keen to-
have your cleric on hand for these attempts too. You may want to have your entire coterie of friends together for these interactions. There could be all number of complications.
It's certainly been useful having them around whenever we've been near it.
Yes. It's a good idea. And at the very least, I think we should look into it and study it. If we can find a way to safely harness its powers for good, then by all means. But I don't think we should rush this if we do end up.
Well, finding a
doing
way
anything with
to
it.
use its powers for good is perhaps something we need to look into, yes. I agree. In the meantime, what do you intend to do regarding your friend Gudael's brother? Anything?
Anything she wants to, really.
Yes,
I think.
I'm sure she would have some good ideas of where to from here, but I wouldn't want to assume anything.
Yes.
Well,
Or
I shall leave
impose.
that in your capable hands then.
Thank you, my lord.
If you do have any questions or thoughts, I will be about.
Yes. When were you thinking of looking into the crown with us present?
There is no rush. When time permits.
Right.
I am
think
curious
we're
to
not
see
doing
how
anything.
this artifact's powers might be accessed and released. It is my suspicion that there is, or perhaps there will be a time when these things that have fallen into our hands may come to be to our advantage.
Right. I think if we're not doing anything today, it might be good to have a look into it. But otherwise, if we're preoccupied, then we'll let you know as soon as possible when we're free to
Today, you
assist.
say? Oh, not today.
If
the
we're
astrology is not conducive to such. We shall
Right.
have to wait until the sanctum is high in the fourth arch.
not, right.
Otherwise, you'll find that the energies are crossed from the... And he begins this large diatribe about the astrology of Sidariel and how you need to wait for the most prophetic moment to allow this business to work.
Very good. Yes. Well, thank you for approaching us. I don't think you said your trance was disturbing. Was this in regards to the crown?
My trance I didn't speak of. That was you who
Oh.
spoke of that.
I asked if you if your trance was all right, and you said
I did
Last
not
night was a bit
trance at
disturbing.
all, my
Oh.
friend.
right.
But this is not your concern. My disturbance is your disturbance. I sensed something in the weave nearby.
Right.
So,
Something of what nature, my lord?
something tugging and pulling at it from within.
Oh,
A disturbance, you might say. An unthreading. An intellect rising.
oh.
That sounds good.
Good.
Does it?
Or not good. Doesn't sound good. I mean, it doesn't. That sounds not good.
Oh,
It doesn't
is that
sound good.
is that that human humor thing?
No, that was purely a mistake. A slip.
Oh, I see.
I misplaced the negative, and it came across wrong.
One day in the far future, this will be known as an Edrinic slip.
Right in that name. Good. Yes. Well, I hope it's got nothing to do with whatever is
Yes.
down there
So,
in the waters.
did you locate a place that you were able to move your boat and store your many treasures?
No.
Possibly, but we did feel that coming back up to the surface was probably more prudent, considering the cave-ins.
I see.
So we are going to have to go back down there and figure out a spot.
And was there any word of Abnog Gur?
Yes, there was the young lad that we brought with us. He apparently is something of a resident of Abnog Gur, or I at least believe that he may have been a former resident of Abnog Gur.
I see. Well, very well. Do keep me informed and abreast of your situation and your plans.
Certainly, my lord.
I shall leave you now. Maith withdraws, leaving Edryn and Leith together in the room.
Do we need to get rid of those goblins again? Because they're still there, aren't they?
Well, they ran, so they could be anywhere, really. But,
They closed off the doorway behind us, so I'd think at the very least they're milling about on the island.
At that far end?
Yes.
Well, yes, maybe we should suggest to the rest of the group that we go back down.
They'll probably be, at the very least, expecting another party. Maybe not us per se, but at least another group of people, now that they know they want them gone.
More humans. I mean, surface dwellers, yes.
Yes. Now that they know that the elves want them gone, they might be expecting a bit more retaliation.
Yes, this is true.
Or the king's ego is just that big that he thinks he's untouchable, so, I mean...
Well...
I'm sure we could actually play that to our advantage if he thinks he's the greatest thing since...
It is goblins. They are pretty ridiculously self-inflated egos, those little shits.
I think we can talk specifically about the two we have encountered, which are of the ruling class, which I think can be said about anyone in any ruling class. Egos. We haven't really been able to talk much with the common man or woman. I don't count Iglot, that thing. With the I'm having flashbacks now.
No. Don't put that image back in my head again, thank you. Oh.
Adrik, what are you doing?
After breakfast with Zinn, I think what Adrik would have started doing is gone to the armory or store and got Zinn first a hat, like a nice round straw hat.
Okay.
And following that, probably offered to start training Zinn, if Zinn was receptive to learning things.
Zinn seems to be fairly receptive to learning things, now that he's been fed especially. He's more interested in learning things.
All right, spectacular. So, Zinn, what's your fancy? Like, I handed you my axe in the Underdark just in case you needed it, but did you enjoy how it felt? Would you prefer a hammer, something else? And we can start there. What feels right?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what would be a good fit for me because I've not laid my hands on too many weapons, to be honest with you, Master Fogdar.
Spectacular. Let's start with everything.
Let's start with everything? Surely we have to choose something.
We will. I can use everything, and I can help you learn or find something that feels right.
Everything.
Well, martially, aye.
How did you learn all of these things? Did they teach you these things in the Banakayan Mountains?
Well, yes and no. My grandmother is what we would call looking at my notes, pardon one moment. My grandmother is a Ragningar, and that's what we would call an honored blooded warrior. She's quite something. And she taught me how...
Taught you to fight.
Aye, she's really quite formidable. And she taught me everything I know.
I see. You're trained by your grandmother. Are your elves, is the dwarfs of your nation, are they like the matriarchs of Abnog Gur then?
No, it's much more of a clannish system. It's everyone's quite balanced, and we have a large council and a king that rules over everything.
I see. Well, this looks interesting. This sword here, this is a nice looking, I think this must be a short sword, yes?
Aye, that is a short sword. Really good for quick stabbing. Brixton's quite proficient with that.
Oh, I see. Maybe we should start with sticks.
We can start with sticks, aye. He picks up, Adrik goes and rips two sturdy-looking sticks off of a tree.
You remember your grandmother telling you about how sticks are the greatest weapons in the world, next to hammers, basically, because Sticks, you can arm an entire army with sticks, and it costs nothing. The sharpened stick is the ultimate weapon. It's two-handed, it has great leverage, it's fast, it's sturdy, it does everything that a spear does, except it costs nothing.
And he relays all of this to Zinn.
Right. And he's sort of
And,
nodding, listening to you.
Now, the most remarkable thing about sticks is if you give a man a stick and he walks through a city, nobody cares. No one will notice. He just looks eccentric. Give a man a sword and everyone's watching. Now,
Yes.
a stick is far more deadly than anyone really gives it credit for.
You can hide your status with a stick.
You can hide your status with a stick. Excellent. Now, try... This is a nice beginner stance, and it takes what would, I think, be closer to a... Russell, you know more about sword fighting than I do. Beginner stance.
Right, so you start teaching Zinn sword fighting and combat training.
Yeah, I think he's going to spend a lot of time doing all that.
All right. Okay, so that's what you guys get up to for a while. Gudael, what are you doing now?
Gudael, the breakfast tent, and she's looking for her teammates to see if she can start running some ideas past someone.
Okay. So would you like to make an investigation check?
Sure.
An investigation check, please.
Investigation.
Yeah.
14, I think.
14. All right. So you see Adrik and Zinn practicing out in the field. Milford's probably wandering around out there too. Are you, or where are you, Milford?
No, I'm sitting down trying to deal with my conscience.
Dealing with your conscience. Oh,
Yes.
dear. That could be a serious issue. All right.
Oh, it is. That's why I'm sitting down on a log.
Right. So
I'm
Gudael,
gonna
you probably
be
walked
fine.
past Brixton sitting there dealing with his conscience.
Oh, I'll pull up short there. Milford, I was wondering, could I have a word with you?
You could have several words for me, lass.
Okay. You're familiar with my brother Ren, or at least his name?
Oh, you mean the blackguard person, yes?
Yes, the one who's in the sufferance.
Okay. Yes?
I believe I would very much like our next move to be going to Hemoth Terrace, see if we can find out more about his situation. And I was thinking about the members of our team. And Leith, having grown up in the experimental village where he did, my father may be unduly interested in him for that reason. He might... It may work to our advantage, it may not. Edryn being human, maybe a bit of a curiosity. Adrik, my parents will love to talk to a dwarf.
Let me stop you there for a minute, lass.
Yes.
Now, first of all, you have to have a reasonable reason for having all of us with you.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got to think of a reasonable reason. And what do you think a reasonable reason would be? We need to get together, you see. So, I tell you what you do. You go round now, and you look for the rest of us, and I'll be right here on the log. And then we'll discuss it, you see.
Okay.
And listen to what
believe-
each one of us says.
Okay. I believe Edryn was still in the tent, so I'll go and see if I can find them there.
You probably find him reading a book, as per usual, someplace.
Right, so
We-
long story short, you find Edryn probably still reading a book in the room. Leith's there too, I'm imagining, unless stated otherwise.
Edryn, Leith, do you have
Yes.
the time to come have a bit of an impromptu meeting?
Oh, well, certainly. We were about to head down to see you ourselves.
Oh, excellent. Milford's waiting on a log.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Lead on.
Okay.
All right, so you gather together. Only Adrik is missing, but you see him training out in the mud with Zinn. Zinn.
Should I disturb them? Adrik often has important insights. Adrik, are you able to come and take a break?
What?
We would like to have a team meeting. Can you come over?
Oh, yeah. I can. All right, Zinn. I want you to continue swinging at that dummy over there. That's what it's there for. Just hit it as hard as you can.
No, not the one that's teaching you. The dummy over there.
I think your friend made a joke there, Adrik.
Oh, it was. I'm sure it wasn't very funny.
He's calling you a dummy.
Well, that's just his opinion, lad.
All right, so you guys gather together. Which tent do you gather together in, if any?
Oh no, Milford wanted us to meet around his log.
His log. All right.
His contemplating log.
Brixton's log. I've been here on this stump for 3 hours.
Brixton's log. All right then. So you gather about on the log, and what do you do now?
Okay. So, gentlemen, I don't know if we've got a plan for what we do next, but I propose that on the list is venturing back to Hemoth Terrath so we can find out how we can get Ren out of the sufferance.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Back to Hemoth Terrath.
Well, I'll be going back to Hemoth Terrath. That's where I'm from.
Oh, I see. Yes.
I beg your pardon. I've been going through the different, well, each of our stories and backgrounds, and I'm wondering what I can tell my parents about how we came to be a team, why I'm traveling with you, and I'm a little bit concerned. Are any of you perchance wanted by the Blackguard?
That would be me.
Right.
But they don't know me as me.
No, and you also have a hat that you can use to disguise yourself.
Oh no, I've got a hat that I can disguise myself with, yes.
Yes.
But I can disguise myself without a hat. I can be just your servant boy if you like.
Servant boy.
Oh, you know the Daughters of Twilight, they have all sorts of servants.
This is true.
Don't they, Leith?
Well, yes. I mean, Dala probably knows as well as anybody.
True.
Yeah.
And Leith, is there anything that would mark you as an elf that grew up in that experimental village?
Mark me? Well,
Would you be recognizable?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I am marked, but that was more recent.
Indeed.
Oh.
I'm just wondering, would anybody in Hemoth Terrath recognize you? But I suppose it would depend on which members of the Blackguard had been in your village.
Steve doesn't know that. Can I make an insight check on that, Russell?
You can make a history check.
History check.
I mean, the
13.
13. A 13. All right. You don't think that anybody would particularly know you in Hemoth Tirith. I mean, there is a vague possibility that someone from the Black Guard came through, but as far as you're aware, that village was essentially wiped out. So there weren't a lot of survivors after it fell apart. So, yeah, it's kind of up to you. You feel like you could probably walk through, and you've never been to Hemoth Tirith too, so it's probably really quite curious to Leith to go to this, the highest city of the High Elves.
Okay. I'll let that stand. I'll let my response stand then.
Very good. It would be a fairly simple matter. We would just have to take a boat up the river.
Yes, I'm quite curious to see the place. To be quite honest, it sounds like a marvelous city and very much different from Vaingate.
And so, to be clear of the geography too, so you would take, just so that you would take a boat up the river to Lith'Lian, or you would take a boat to any of the towns on the side of the lake, and then you would ride around this sort of circular or horseshoe-shaped road that would go up into the mountains to Hemoth Tirith.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of waterfalls and drops from Hemoth Tirith down to the lake, which you cannot take a boat through.
Okay. So it wouldn't be that simple.
It wouldn't be that simple. It'd be a little bit more complicated than that. But close.
Okay. It occurs to me we can simply tell them the truth and say you've been adventuring as well as working for the Daughters of Twilight. You always mix a bit of a untruth with a bit of truth. That way, if anybody should doubt you, it's got that bit of truth in that they can check.
Okay. And which bits of our adventures are we absolutely certain we cannot let be known in Hemoth Tirith? Certainly everything that has occurred on this island.
And certainly everything that occurred under the ground. But you can tell them many adventures you've had at Vaingate. You had a few of those.
Hey, tell them about the time you killed a demon.
Yeah.
You've even got a trophy.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Then we need to find out stuff without finding out stuff.
What?
That's going to be the hard thing.
Yes.
You're going to have to visit your brother and remember how they get you in if your father lets you. But you can't, if he doesn't know, you have to wait for him to tell you. And if he's keeping it hidden, he won't be telling you nothing.
In fact,
But
you wouldn't
if-
even know that your brother's sequestered away somewhere. It wouldn't be beyond the pale to ask how he's doing. You haven't received a letter in a while.
That's a
Yes.
good idea. That's a good idea. You see, he's not. If he suddenly says, "Oh, I think he's busy somewhere," then we're in trouble. But he would know exactly where he is if he was busy somewhere.
Well, then you could just go, oh, well, that's funny. I was walking here and I saw the tower that what was the tower called again? The place where the people are hidden.
The Sufferance. It's a group of islands, I think.
Oh, never mind. Then for some reason I thought it was a tower. Never mind.
Okay, but the thing is, you should have been a rogue. Anyway, now listen. Also, you need somebody with roguish talents, 'cause I ain't going nowhere near the Sufferance. You see, rogues spend their time trying to break out of the Sufferance, not into the Sufferance. And I've
But
gotten...
you could be the first to break in. Imagine Milford Brixton, the first rogue to break the Sufferance.
Oh, you're not going to tempt me that way. Hang on, wait a minute.
It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It could be a good story.
No, you're not gonna get me that way. No.
I heard that Milford Brixton alone broke into the supplements. I heard he had a handsome dwarf by son. What was his name again? Adrik Fogdal. Adrik was down in his cups. He did it alone. That's how it'd go.
Oh, but you see, this would take months and months to plan.
Is this...
That's the brilliant thing. Brixton did it in a weekend.
I can't do it in a weekend. I have a small idea. What am I doing? No, I'm not going to help you with this. There is no way.
You see.
We don't have weekends or child labor laws yet, by the way.
It's only an idea, and it might not work.
Well, it's got a better chance of working than not doing it at all. So we're already doing pretty good.
And if I gave you the hat, any one of you could do it. Oh,
not with these fingers. No, I couldn't crack a lock.
No, that's true.
Damn right. I'd have to kick it open.
Let me think about it. I'll think about it. All right.
There, see, he's in.
This is what we're gonna have to know while I'm thinking about it. One, we need to know what kind of magics they have. But first, we need to figure out. Okay, we need to go to your parents because whoever gets him out has got to learn how your father walks, talks, and everything else.
Barry? Cameron?
What? Sorry, I'm thinking. We need to know how... Whoever does it, not me, needs to know how he walks, talks, and everything else. I need to know his bad moods, his good moods, how he handles people.
Well, you are the one with the hat of disguise, Milford.
And the one with the roguish skills.
This is true, but you see, I can give it to any one of you, and you can learn how he talks, walks, and everything else. And you, young lady, should know how your father does things better than anybody. But we need to see him in action. We need to see how he handles people. We need to actually know if he goes to that prison. If he goes to that prison regularly for one reason and another, then we have to make a plan to go to the prison before him. But we need to know how many guards he has when he goes to the prison. We need to know what his habits are when he goes to the prison. Because everybody in the prison that work with him will be used to the way he acts and what he does.
Milford, we need your devious mind on this.
Are you saying I've got a devious mind? I haven't got a devious mind.
I've thought of half of these things. You need to come on this trip.
There is no way. Don't you look at me with those eyes of yours, because there is no way I'm going. You've got 1, 2, 3 men with you already.
I do think she meant it as a compliment.
And what would you do in the meantime, Brixton? You sit on this beach and stare out at the woods, thinking about what will never be.
No, look. I have just pulled off with your assistance, your great assistance, may I add, the biggest heist ever. And I want to spend the heist. I don't want to spend time in jail with the heist because it's no good to me there.
And where will you go? Back to Vaingate? That's burning to the ground, potentially.
Listen. They need me in Vaingate. Mother would not know how to do anything without my know. So, I've given you the ideas for a plan. Now you lot just put it together. I know you can do it. You don't need me for everything, you know. You're all talented by yourselves. So, give it some thought, you know.
Brixton, are you leaving us?
Well, I'm not going to the prison. I don't like prisons. I keep out of them. That's like the Great Plague to me, you know. I'm we had a great plague here yet? Because we're about to have one. Okay. Now you've got a little bit of a plan. Now you lot just work on it, and I've got things to do.
Aye.
It sounds like you don't want to be part of the group anymore, though, Milford.
Milford Brixton was never part of a group. I've never been part of a group. I don't even have a family. And the family I do have don't want to know me. I'm not a good person, you know, people.
Time out for Gudael.
What feasts might be going on in Hemith Terrath at the moment?
Any number of feasts. There's every season has an equinox. There's a solstice at either end of the year. There's a number of saints that have their own feasts, probably 22 of those. So we could say I could pull a feast out if you wanted to know exactly what feasts were going on, but
right. Well, Milford, how about this? We'll go to Hemith Terrath for a party. And we can go and you can have a good time and we can observe my father and all his gloriousness and get all the information we need and then bust Ren out of the sufferance.
You can't bust him out of the sufferance.
the Feast of the Wheel is the next feast coming up. It's going to be in 3 days.
Feast of the Wheel?
Yeah.
It's a celebration of the wheel.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a celebration that relates to wealth and luck. And every year at Hemith Terrath, in the olden days, and this is a tradition that has carried through for centuries now, there is an annum strike coin, a very, very large one, that is taken out of the vaults and paraded through the city on the back of a cart on a float, so that everybody can see just how wealthy we are. And then it's taken and put back in the vault. The poor continue to starve, but that's not the point. In the modern day, we've replaced this with launching rocket ships. But I didn't say that out loud.
Consider, Brixton, you potentially won't be breaking into the sufferance. You'll be facilitating a consultancy role. What will we be doing? How are we to do it? A supervisor, you could see.
Yes, it's not like we don't need your help in this. You're basically, you're basically the brains in it all.
I wouldn't go that far.
So, would you like to make a check against flattery, Mr. Brixton?
We've just got to buff him
Yes,
up a little
please.
bit.
I'd like to make a check against ego.
Yes.
So this is basically. Should we make a wisdom check? Maybe a
Wisdom check.
a wisdom saving throw against flattery. Okay, Mr. Brixton, your wisdom flattery check is going to be a massive 11. What do you reckon the difficulty of this is? Anybody in the audience want to give us a difficulty rating for a wisdom saving throw versus flattery?
Make it over 11.
Use some of that divinity in the
throw
chat.
some divinity at it. Make it at least a 12, I would hope. But or alternately, if you like the idea of Milford not, being beguiled by these flatterers, do nothing. Spend nothing, you tight wads. By the way, incidentally, we're doing a charity run at the moment, and there's a thing called Gaming for Charity, which you can go and find on the links below, and you can click on that and you can go and donate some money to some kids at the Starship Hospital. If you don't do it, we will sit here and judge you for the rest of the game. This is my judgy face.
My eyebrows are tattooed on, so I always look judgy.
Right. Judge. You're being judged right now. Excellent. So in any case, no response. All right. Let's see. Who wants to make a persuasion check against Milford's saving throw?
Who's got high persuasion?
Probably you.
Okay.
Just at a guess, but I'm
Oh,
just...
well, we were the ones that were
Good.
talking.
That's
so
true. Leith, Leith, you might want to make that check.
Persuasion. Mine's a +6.
What?
Got a plus. Yo, double. Hell yeah.
What?
And I rolled a 25, so...
What? Oh my god, did you see that? Oh my
Amazing.
goodness.
You have no chance, Milford.
Milford, they're doing a really good job of persuading you. Persuading you. Yes, you're being persuaded.
Leith actually means it. He's not actually trying, so...
Right. So you can sense they are quite true to their words. They're being authentic about what they're saying. So, consider these things. But I wouldn't want to take your agency off you as a player character. Just like to twist your arm a
I'm
little
sorry,
bit.
you lot. I just can't do this, Not at all. I've been afraid of that place for a lot of my life.
Brixton,
Mm?
how much?
That is the answer. I think if there is an answer.
I have, as you said, you would like to spend your cache of gold that we have stolen, free of any imprisonment. But I think you're also a little bit of a gambling man, and I would like to put forward double or nothing. We get captured, we obviously go to jail and or die. If we don't, you can have my portion of the treasure.
I'm not going to
So-
do it for money.
What?
I won't do this for anything.
Milford, I'll say this. Going to Vaingate in the first place was a very much a new experience for me, and I was very fearful of stepping foot in that place. But meeting you was the greatest asset to my life so far. So I would say, take the risk. We're with you. We will assist you.
There's a difference, you lot. When they catch you, they'll just put you away. When they catch me, they'll kill me.
How sure
And he
are you
walks
that...
away.
Well, maybe I'm not fully understanding the gravity of the situation here.
You're
do
not
forget.
alone.
We do forget. We're so used to Milford Brixton. We forget who he was before he became Brixton. So
Oh,
his,
of course.
his reaction is quite reasonable.
Oh, well.
I think I agree.
Does Gudael know who he was before he was Brixton?
Have you?
I'm not sure Joanna knows who he was.
He revealed to us back in Adrik's room way back when that about his previous identity, but I don't recall if he gave us his true name.
Right.
When he took the oath, he did mention his full...
Oh yes.
He did. Right. He mentioned his full name during the oath.
He did the oath.
And his full
That's
name
right.
was Milisaran Idris Erathanai.
Ah, right, Erthanai. Ah. Right.
Which, of course, makes him related to the current king.
Oh, yes.
But he's
I
a
can
half-elf.
quite
Bear in mind he's a
understand.
half-elf.
Mm.
He's not really a threat to the king in the same sense as a full elf might be. But you never know.
More of a blight on the family, maybe?
That's perfect. That's even better. Even more insulting. No.
Well, I'm quite happy. Remember keeping that in mind. I'm quite happy leaving him here. I'll even pay him a little bit to continue Zinn's tutorship with weapons. How hard could it be to break into a prison? It keeps people in.
Russell,
Yes, sir.
can I get an audience with the king?
An audience with the king, King Bragan.
Yes.
Bragan, all right. Okay. So you're gonna you wander off to do that, do you?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Gudael's gonna go brood somewhere on a beach.
Okay. So Gudael's brooding on a beach. Let's just check where everybody's at. Well, Edryn's disappeared, so he's gone to the potty.
Leith is just staying where he is. He's a little dumbstruck by what
right.
Milford has just
Sprung upon him.
Sprung upon everybody. Yeah.
Right. And Adrik, what are you doing?
He'll pat Leith on the shoulder, give him some assurance, and then he'll wander off back to Zinn to... He didn't tell Zinn to stop, so Zinn's probably just been smacking that thing and is in dire need of a break.
Right. And Edryn, do you return to your books? Or
Edryn is going to he's gonna pace for a bit. He's gonna pace for a good 5-10 minutes, and then he's gonna go over to Gudael. But we'll let Brixton do his.
All right, so Mr. Brixton, you go searching for Bragan, and you find Bragan and Maith together in Maith's tent that is somewhat bigger on the inside than on the outside as you pass through into the tent. And the guards allow you in, and you go inside, and do you follow all the etiquette and things that you've learned, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't just burst in and demand to be seen. Okay,
No.
Excellent. All right, well, a few minutes later, you're standing before Bragan and Maith. Bragan takes a seat on a large wooden chair that's been folded out, and Maith stands behind him, leaning on his staff. Bragan says, Mr. Brixton, you have questions?
I do.
Can I help you? Please.
I know, my king, that you two have much to do here and bigger problems. But I have a problem.
What is your problem?
I've been asked to break into a jail. And there's a certain part of me that wants to break into the jail. But there's a certain part of me that's, well, I don't wish to shame to shame myself. There's a certain part of me that's afraid to break into the jail.
You are, of course, speaking of the sufferance and Gudael's brother, Ren, and his imprisonment.
Yes.
Of course.
What would you two do?
Well, I'd be very careful if I were you, Mr. Brixton. First of all, the sufferance is the greatest prison in the world. The chances of being able to break in and break out again are very slim, first of all. But you did, after all, commit the greatest heist in the world's history, as far as anyone is known, so it's possible that you can do such a thing. But nobody knows how, to be fair and honest with you. There are creatures in the sufferance that have been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Not just men, not just elves, but creatures of legend that have been kept inside this mythal, which is what it is, a mythal. You should ask your friend Leith and your friend Edryn about what is a mythal. They will tell you. This is not something that is an easy task. But if you are so inclined to prove your value and your worth, the very least you might consider is to assess the situation from up close. I also have another proposal for you and your friends, and when you're ready, tell them this is on the table. We have obtained a large quantity of jewels, which we would be prepared to accept a trade of some of the coin that you have obtained, that is in this treasure ship that you carry, that you brought with you. We would exchange light gems for heavy gold, so that you can carry a larger sum of your treasures and leave this place at your leisure. If you were to go to Vaingate, perhaps you would want to spend money there. I'm not sure. I don't know, Mr. Brixton. The answer to your question is difficult. There's word of armies marching upon Vaingate. There's word that Vaingate itself is in turmoil. The elders, the very high houses themselves are up in arms. Queen Claresca has disappeared now, I'm told. This Vorbis Dal Renars, this Barakyle wizard, the inquisitor they sent to find you all, is causing quite a stir in Vaingate. People have died over this. Your disappearance has left a swathe of inquisitions in Vaingate. Your actions have not gone without consequence, and most of these consequences have been borne by others. You have choices to make.
Thank you for your time.
I hope these answers help you in some way, that you are able to move forward. I should hope that whatever you do, I am not giving you any orders. You please do understand this. I'm not giving you orders, but I do hope that whatever you choose to do, you do keep in mind the furthering and the eventual endings of our cause. If you understand what I mean.
Yes, I understand. He bows and leaves.
As you're
and
leaving,
goes looking for Gudael.
as you leave the tent and you're walking between the pavilions, you feel a hand on your shoulder.
I turned quickly.
It's Maith. He says, everything Lord Reagan has spoken of to you just now is true. However, he is not entirely aware of the scope of our abilities and talents. If you decide to go ahead to Hemath Tirith on your proposed mission to free this Ren Talandarin, come to me, and I will equip you with certain tools. They do not guarantee your success, of course, you would understand that. But they might give you a fighting chance of escape. Pats you on the shoulder. Do go back to your friends.
Yes. I go looking for Gudael.
Okay, so you do find Gudael on the beach.
What's she doing?
I believe Edryn and I are on the beach.
Oh, Edryn's there as well.
Yes, I did say after 5 minutes or so I was going
I
to
was going to say, Edryn, are you,
go over to Gudael.
you wearing nappies?
Yes, he is very kind of doing a lot of breathing exercises just to be
near the
close
water.
to Gudael. In fact, he sits facing the opposite direction.
Okay.
So he's able to like see Gudael, but he's just got forest in front of him.
Right. Fair enough.
I think probably in that case, Gudael would have noticed his discomfort and would have edged back from the beach a little bit.
Thank you very much. You like your like your brother.
Yes, he's despite the fact that he was adopted into the family, he's probably my favorite family member. We were thick as thieves, as they say, growing up. It's not often that elf siblings are close in age. We can be hundreds of years apart. But Ren and I were perhaps 5-6 years apart.
Right. And you, love this brother?
Oh, dearly, yes. Yes.
I know, I'm not as agile as Brixton, or talented, or devilishly handsome as him. But, I hope that you know that, you have my, my dedication and my, my heart wholeheartedly in this endeavor. So, wherever you go to help Ren, I shall aid you, for the love that you bear him.
Thank you, Edryn. That's that means a lot to me. I fear I have been so wrapped up in how well we work together as a team, I forgot about Milford's personal issues, and it's perhaps one of my less noble characteristics. Sometimes I forget the background of other people.
Right. Well, I think it can be forgiven if you forgot. It's not that we are constantly aware of it. He does tend to hide it a bit. But I think it is good of you to recognize that he obviously is in a place, and he is entitled to be in that place with his extensive history in the world of this blackguard matter.
Yes, the blackguard is fearsome for most people, but for him perhaps even more so.
Milford, you approach.
Oh, Milford! I would like to offer you my apologies. I am sorry for pressuring you to do something which you clearly do not want to do.
Are you sitting down or standing up?
I stood up when you cleared your throat.
He looks you in the eye with an expression you've never seen before on him. And he says, well, it so happens, lass, I won't be doing anything for a while. And if there's one thing I hate, it's to be bored. Now, shall we go and get this member of our family and get him out of there now?
Have you changed your mind?
When I look at you, lass, I see hope. I see a future. I see a bit of life. And I think it's about time I did something for somebody who makes the world a better place.
And Gudael's just so overcome, she grabs Milford up in a big hug. Is she taller than Milford? Would she be taller? As an elf versus a half-elf? Okay.
Possibly a little bit taller.
All right. Big hug then.
Oh, now, none of that stuff now. No. You don't need to be hugging me. But if you want to, I'm not stopping you. But we better go and make plans,
Yes. Edryn, let's go find the others.
Alright, so what's the plan? We're going to break your brother out now.
Yes, we'll go in time for the Feast of the Wheel.
And that's in, you said it was 3 days? It's not a lot of time.
Oh, no, it's not, is it?
And you're coming, Milford.
It is in 3 days, and it would take about 3 days to get there.
I'm coming.
Oh, wonderful.
Now this is what we need to know. Okay, we're all going because of this feast as well, you know.
Aye.
That's why we're going there. Or some of us would partake of it. Does your family partake of it, and is it special?
My family partakes in all the feasts because that is, it's expected to make a statement for the rest of the town.
So
Now,
it's a feast, it's a festival, it's a big day, it's a parade, it's, there's a ball at the end of it, there's several different locations in the city where people may or may not go, but there's definitely a whole royal parade that goes through the city with a bunch of clerics and such as well. So yeah, even the Daughters of Twilight have a parade float.
So I'm assuming that Ren normally shows up for this thing, does he?
If he's available, he would.
Unless he was away on a mission or something for the Blackguard.
Well, that's when you can ask your father, you know, is Ren away doing something?
Perfect.
And see what he gives you the answer to. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the difficult part is, do any of us know anybody who's ever been in this prison?
Well,
Gudael, maybe.
You can each make a history check if you like.
Yep.
Yes. Adrik got a 21.
Wow.
Got an 18.
And
Old Uncle Gudael was in the prison once.
Right. You
To
don't.
be honest, I would be up his sleeve. You would have found a way.
Edryn, you know of people that have been in the prison, in the sufferance. Same as you, Adrik. None of you know anybody personally who has been put in there. This is not a jail for normal people. This is a jail for superly powerful individuals who are enemies of the state. This is what we do with people that we do not want dead, because they might come in useful one day. This is the Tower of London. This is where you put the princesses that are the bastard children of the king. This is where you put the assassin that tried to kill so-and-so. These are usually royal or high-blooded prisoners, or sometimes fucking dragons.
Well, like the two kids King Richard definitely didn't murder.
Right, exactly. But yeah, this is
They're
where you
still
put,
there, I promise.
right. You put wizards here, wizards, dragons, creatures of that ilk. There's rumors that there are drow kept in there as well. But I mean, the names of the people in the sufferance are not public knowledge, first of all. So it's not as if there is a list of names that you can just go and look up. If you wanted to know who was in the sufferance, you have to do some serious digging. There's rumors about who's in there and how long they've been there. There's rumors that there's a dragon that's been in there for thousands of years. So if you're expecting to break in and break out whilst there's a dragon that's been in there for thousands of years, why didn't the dragon do that? It was the obvious question, if it's so easy. So you can guarantee that it's not easy.
Well, it strikes me that time is of the essence, and we can plan on the boat, unless there's a faster way.
I don't know of a faster way, but wouldn't it be convenient if there was a tunnel that went through the Underdark?
You've possibly who got the highest roll there for that history check on the sufferance?
Adrik got a 21. That's pretty high.
Not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, okay. Adrik, you've heard of a creature called Oganx. Oganx.
Mm-hmm.
They call him the Netherling.
Yeah.
You've also heard the term illithid used in reference to this creature, but you don't know what that is.
And this is a creature that may or may not be inside the sufferance.
Correct. A prisoner of the sufferance, yeah. A very long-term prisoner of the sufferance. And you heard this through dwarven stories that date back hundreds of years.
From way back when I was a child.
Yes.
Possible with Maith's magic to teleport us there. If he knew of some sort of way to get us there swiftly that wouldn't take 3 days, we could appear somewhat nearby or in a specific place that he knows, and it could get us there roughly instantaneously rather than over a course of 3 days travel.
That's as good a bet as any.
I suggest we just ride there normally and do what we normally do. Because we're just adventurers taking our friend home to go to this festival.
Do we take the boat that we borrowed from Vaingate, or do we take Leith's boat?
I think we take Leith's.
Yes, well, I don't see why mine is any different to any other boat. So I'm more than happy to.
It's not laden with gold.
It's
That's a
also more
positive.
useful. We can fold it away and hide it if need be.
I actually haven't had the opportunity to properly use it yet either.
Well,
Oh, good.
well, that's transportation settled.
Okay, we got transportation.
Shall we pack up some supplies and get going?
Aye,
Okay.
the sooner
Yes.
the better.
Yes.
Does your father check your friends?
Check, my friends?
Yes.
Like,
Daddy
frisk us
is
for
always
drugs?
worried about his little girl.
Oh, no, this daddy does not worry about his little girl.
Nor should he. You're lethal.
No, he may worry about any ill repute I might bring upon the family, but I'm banking that if we show up during the festival, hopefully he'll be too distracted to worry about that.
Okay. Is he likely to use any kind of tell me the truth thing on us?
He's a powerful man, but I can't say what kind of spells he may have.
Okay. And remember, if he does bring up your brother, you've got to be very surprised.
Yes. I would say, however, that my older brother Alar would probably be the one that we want to be more careful around magic-wise.
I see. And that's the one that plays chess, you told me.
Yes.
I'll
Yes, he
keep
is
him
rather
busy.
fond of the dragon chess.
Okay, I'll keep him busy.
All right. So what do you guys do now? What's the overall general
Dragon
general
chest
plan?
too, apparently.
Oh.
So maybe we
good.
could have a nice little tournament. I'm proficient in it, even.
All right, let's all get ready and depart post haste.
Okay.
All right. So you go and visit Maith. Is that the general consensus here? Yeah. Okay. All right. You
There's
go
things
into
we
Maith's
pick up.
quarters, and he is waiting for you, and you see next to him one of his assistants, and there's a large chest and some bags nearby. Maith says, "Ah, good, you've come. I was hoping that I would have time to speak with you before you made a decision as to what you were going to do. I have obtained in your absence, whilst you were in the Underdark, some jewels, which I would like to offer you in return for some of your heavy gold.
Aye, that sounds reasonable.
Yes, that would be that would probably be quite useful.
I suggest that you take these jewels to, if you're, depending on where you're going, of course, I'm assuming much here, but perhaps if you are heading to Hemath Tirith, that you take the jewels there and have them purchased for electrum or gold. Electrum is a very common currency among the elves, you will find. The jewels themselves will be less easy to spend, but much easier to carry.
Indeed. I am in need of some diamonds anyway for components.
I see. So, if you're interested, we can exchange some quantities. Now, how much did we agree upon earlier? If there was an agreement, or would you like to make an agreement?
Yes, make an agreement sounds reasonable to me. I don't believe we discussed anything.
No. Right. So how much gold do you have that you would like to exchange? Obviously there is a finite number of jewelry, or jewels, and I have jewels in different sizes and denominations.
May we talk amongst ourselves for a moment, please?
Of course, please.
My
There
lord.
is a room further back.
Yes.
Take your time.
Others. Could we?
Yeah, let's go, Leith.
Yep. Leith leads them into the other room, closes the door, and goes,
No, wait a minute. There's no doors. This is a tent.
"Oh, okay." And just leans in and whispers to everybody, "Did we actually count the money?"
No idea.
Oh. Well, Maith did say that that it had been counted by his people, so I do trust him.
I've no reason not to. Does anyone have a reason not to trust Maith?
Good. Just making sure. Yes. And I'll go back into the room and go, how much was it that your people counted?
Well, that was a considerable amount. A figure with 6 zeros.
Oh.
And several digits on the front of that.
Well,
I'm imagining that you will want to leave your boat here with the amount behind, and you probably do not wish to take all of that amount, besides which I could not actually exchange that amount as it was anyway.
well, how much would it be? Would it be if we cut this in six ways?
6 ways.
Yes, for yourself, yourself and Bragan, of course.
I see. Well, I tell you what, I will give you what I have here by way of jewels, which totals 956,000 gold pieces worth of jewels. You can divide that among yourselves.
Do maths.
This is the maths episode of Vaingate Chronicles for our viewers. This is the role-playing between missions episode, so there's not a whole heap of fighting and things. Lots of role-playing, but
Not yet.
we're sort of untangling and unteasing our plot at the moment and just finding out where our characters' motives and motivations lie. as to see where they're going to go for the next major story arc. We're literally between story arcs right now.
Leith gets out his notebook and does some sums, and hands around the notebook, and it says 191,200.
Right, so that's what you would each receive in gold from an exchange of those jewels.
Something to bear in mind is that we've also got that 100,000 waiting for us in Vaingate still.
Yes, there is that as well.
Do we need this entire amount right now? I'm also just considering that the triumvirate in Vaingate would be deeply, deeply unhappy if we were to trade the contents of the boat for several large handfuls of gems.
Why don't we just take 1,000 each temporarily for our trip to Lith'Lian?
That sounds perfectly reasonable to me.
They would not need to know about any of this. Surely.
Well, they'd want to know where the gold has gone and all the cool magical items. I think also in terms of us, we don't need 100,000 going to Lith'Lian. So I say we take, or I think we decide how much we personally want to take gem-wise.
I've got about 924 gold, so I'm not in dire need.
Right.
I could do a new
I
suit
take
of
it
armor, actually.
Barry is having a moment with his family there, I assume. Anyway, yes?
Yes.
I might take a good portion in case we find something of interest in Lith'Lian. That obviously would cost a good amount. Whether that is an object or information.
I do suspect that Maith probably doesn't want to be holding on to this for us. He has exchanged it for us. So perhaps we should take the lot and then decide where we're going to put it.
Seems like a lot.
I mean, I think it would be maybe a bit rude.
I do have a bag of holding, Mr. Leith.
Oh. Oh, yes.
Perhaps we could just store it in there. Whatever it is that he is wanting to give us.
Has he given it, Russell, has he given us each, each share in separate sacks or anything like that?
That can be arranged.
Yep.
Yep.
Why don't we separate that out and each put a sack within the bag of holding of our gems?
Okay.
That way, Maith need not think about any of this. I just don't want him to feel obliged to be holding on to things for us.
I mean, we'll be at some point in the near future. I imagine we'll be. At some point in the near future, we'll be moving that boat, hopefully. It is still my intention to. I can't speak for Brixton, to return it to Vaingate.
Oh, yes,
Have we completely bequeathed the contents to Reagan?
Well, no. I assume not.
It's been my understanding that I mean, I don't mind skimming a little bit off the top. How would they possibly know? But just trading the whole amount, we'd be hunted.
Well, we're basically wanted people now, aren't we?
Aye, by people that are, tend to dabble in law. Do you want to be hunted by people that go out of their way to break it?
I want to be hunted down by his cousin.
Whose cousin?
My cousin,
Adrik's.
Gudael.
Oh,
No,
No.
we don't want that.
And Hazeldrill. I mean, he's an exile for a reason.
well, why did we take the boat and all of its contents in the first place if we're just going to go and return it?
We took it to return it to them. Because we took it from the the Barakyle wizards.
Oh,
And then.
but I thought we were stealing the gold.
For
From the Barakyle
classes.
wizards.
And what?
Excuse me. What the hell's going on? What are we talking about?
We're reminding Leith about what happened back in Vaingate.
I think we take a minimal sum of what we need.
All we need.
Yes. Yes.
Because, I mean, if Maith is complaining that he has an entire shipload worth of magical items at his disposal, I can't say I feel for him. He knows that a good portion of it may go to him, at least portions that some of us are willing to give up, and that other portions must stay with
Our
the
previous
ship.
benefactors.
Because obviously, exactly. So,
You must
say we take.
I think you must forgive me. My brain is being quite clouded by the amount of money that is being
There's a lot
pushed
going on,
our
Leith,
way.
yes.
I
It
think
is a
this
concerning amount of money.
Crime is a very complicated matter.
And you've also had, you know...
Well, you're
lots
telling
of
me
way.
crime's a very complicated matter. It's really complicated. Let's get on with the bloody thing, will ya?
I couldn't defeat you with the Underdark, but I have apparently defeated you with maths.
You defeated us with our own history.
Bureaucracy!
You defeated us with our own history. How dare you? Alright, so we'll just be taking what we need for the mission and then continuing.
See,
Yes.
and eventually
And then we can
returning
come
the
back.
rest.
Aye. But if we just were to skim, there's no problem there.
I see.
Or some of it got lost because, you know,
Boats,
pirates,
they sink.
storms.
They're full of planks that occasionally open when it gets hot and cold. Water changes temperature all the time.
Right.
Excuse me, I'd like to tell everybody I'm the thief here, not you lot.
Well,
I
no,
am-
Thieving. It's a sum of money that we would use to maintain our protection of the gold.
Gotta make money
I
to
see.
spend money to
No,
make
I-
money.
Aye, that's it.
I don't know.
Right,
You've
Salary,
been,
that's a good way of looking at it.
you've been with me too long, obviously. 'Cause you're
I-
even confusing me.
Well, they
Oh.
have already given us 100,000 gold back at Vaingate, which we can collect on.
Yeah,
But-
we don't need
You know,
to take from them.
there's nothing wrong with getting a bit more money.
That's what we're saying.
You know, it's not written in the moons. Don't dare get more money because it's unhealthy for you. My
I couldn't
God.
possibly-
Yes, but Milford, when we set out on this heist, you put me under the impression that we were taking at least this as our own.
Did I now?
Yes. Yes, you did.
Well, you know, everything I do is open to interpretation.
Gudael is conspicuously quiet.
You know, and I'll go with your interpretation, whatever that is. But at the moment, let's worry about.
Well then, how would you propose that we actually steal this? And I don't want I don't want to be interpreted. I want an explanation, please.
All right, let's put it this way. I stole it in the first place. We stole it in the first place. I'm not stealing it again. We gotta help.
I don't understand you, Milford.
I don't understand me half the time anyway. So, can we just get on with rescuing this dude? We'll worry about
Let's-
money later.
Let's
I can't
take
believe
whatever
I'm
we
saying that.
need.
I can't
Let's take
believe
what
I'm-
we need. Let's take what we need from Maith, and we can
I-
leave the rest behind.
I do agree with you, but this money is. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought us here.
Oh no, don't worry about that. It's all done now. It's all done now. Now, what we got to be thinking about, and don't you ever tell anybody that I said, not to worry about money. Now, listen,
Well,
we've got to be thinking about saving somebody's life. That's got to be the first thing on our mind. And staying alive is the second thing. So let's get to it.
Okay.
So what's the consensus then?
Take what we need and go.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think you need? Is my next question.
Gudael would like 1,200 gold pieces worth of diamonds, please.
All right. You can write that down, please. Keep a note of it.
Could somebody write it down for me somewhere?
How much are you taking, Milford? Anywhere.
I'm taking what they're all taking.
Well, they're all possibly taking different amounts. So you can take
Why?
up to 100,000 gold pieces.
I'll take. Ooh. I'll take what Gudael's taking.
So 1,200.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like just over 1% of that amount.
Okay.
It's a tiny fraction of it. Okay.
Right.
It's a
I'll
bag
do
about
that.
this big. It's a small bag like this big.
I'm going to take 5 gemstones worth 1,000 gold pieces.
So 5,000 gold pieces broken up into 5
Yes.
gemstones. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear how you break them up to Gudael, to be honest. What size, what sort of gemstones they are. You can work these things out in between games if you like. Doesn't have to be now.
Cool.
And Adrik and Leith.
2 gems with 500 gold. Easy.
2 gems, 500.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
two of 500 and one of 3 of 500.
Okay.
Yep.
3 of 500. All right. Fair enough. Consider it done.
Huzzah!
All right.
Boat time.
And Maith
Boat
is
time.
happy to see you all get your payouts and what have you, and off you go. And you go down to the beach, I assume, with your things. What are you taking? Is anyone replacing anything? And is there any new equipment coming up now? Is anybody looking to exchange anything? Gudael, are you upgrading your armor from leather to splint? Okay.
Indeed, I am.
Okay. Any changes of clothes, costumes, anything? This is your chance.
Look, that's a good one.
I need a
To be
new
fair, there
name.
would be more chances. You're going to Hemoth Terrace. That's one of the biggest cities in the world. There are shops.
I need a new
Shopping
name.
spree.
All right, so you lay out the boat, and Leith, you unfold your folding boat into the water. I'm assuming you don't need to make it a ship because you don't have more than 5 people, so you can just do the small version of the boat.
I'll just have a look at the details of the boat. The small one is 10 feet long, 4 feet wide, and 2 feet deep.
Okay.
Boat can hold up to 4 medium creatures comfortably. So, whereas the bigger one is 15.
Well, it says comfortably. You could probably fit 5 people slightly uncomfortably. So that's your choice.
Adrik's also not big.
That's true. And also consider that you're going up a river. It's not an ocean.
Yep.
So, fitting large
can
boats
just-
up that river will not be so much.
Row at a leisurely pace.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my imagination, this boat always looks like a giant paper boat.
It's not a paper boat. It looks like a very beautiful, ornate, gold and white elven craft.
In my imagination, it kind of starts as that.
Yeah.
But then it kind of morphs into something a bit more rigid and a bit more reliable looking.
Right.
Yeah.
And fast.
Yep.
Racy.
It's a beautiful elven crafted boat at the end of the day when it's folded out. And it's people will think it's probably a noble person's craft as well. They won't necessarily assume it's magic when they look at it, because that might attract a lot of attention, and you might not want that kind of attention. I mean, unless you do want that kind of attention, I'm happy to change it if you want. It's up to you. die? I'm okay with that.
Russell, I'm gonna do a disguise.
Okay.
A servant.
A
of
servant.
some-
All right.
yeah.
So you're disguising yourself as whose servant?
A daughter of Twilight servant.
A servant of the Daughters of Twilight. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause she's a daughter of Twilight, remember?
All right.
Yeah.
So you're a half elf being a Daughters of Twilight servant. All right. Very good. Can you make a? Well, I guess I will make a roll for you
Yes, please.
in that respect. Here we go. Oh. Anyone want to help him with that?
Yeah, Adrik's probably gonna hold up his shield so he can just see what he's doing better.
Oh,
Right.
crap, that's not right. Looks like
I
the back
will.
end of a bus.
It's getting worse.
I'll actually help him with that by similarly changing my glamoured armor to an acolyte of the daughters.
Right.
Can I cast guidance on him?
You can.
Okay.
Okay. So.
So you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check.
All right. So let's just. I want to see this up over here. And I'm going to get Milford your thing open. Dun, 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 dun. So that everyone can see what we're going to roll. So disguise with advantage. And oh, that's a bit more like it. A 19. All right. So Milford, you've managed to make yourself look like a servant to the Daughters of Twilight. You'd be an auxiliary. You'd both be auxiliaries because the official rules of the Daughters of Twilight is you have to be basically a female to be a full member.
Yeah.
So you are auxiliary members assisting Gudael, who presumably Gudael, I'm assuming you're going to go as a Daughter of Twilight because everybody knows that already.
Yes.
You're not
Yeah.
going to, there's no reason not to. So they can be your assistants or your servants.
Yes.
That will make sense.
Yep. And so Gudael probably put her vestments on as well. Then
All right.
that goes on top of the armor or underneath or.
A little bit of both, I would expect. You might have certain vestments that go over it. You might have like a cloak that will go over it. You might have a tabard that might go over it.
Right.
But you might have certain vestments that go under your gambeson beneath your splint. So, yeah. It's a little bit of both.
Russell, I need a new name.
A new name.
Can the audience think of a new name for me?
I would not leave that to the audience. Jesus.
Elfie McElfman.
Yeah, that's what you'll end up with. These fuckers. Oh my goodness. So you need a new name. Well, we will consider that. How does Erdan sound?
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can go through a proper list anyway. You're not going to arrive in Vaingate right now, so there's time for you to choose a name. Not Vaingate, I mean Hemeth Tirith. Right. So you are in the boat. You travel across the water. You're heading towards the northern tip of the Lake Lockhart. Edryn, can you make a wisdom saving throw, please?
Nine.
A 9. All right, well, I'll ask you the question. How do you feel about the fact that you're currently sitting on a boat on a huge body of water that you now understand sits above another huge body of water?
Body of water on top of yet another body of water.
Right, which contains within it an aboleth,
An
which
aboleth, yeah.
you have literally seen with your own eyes. You've seen its tentacles.
Leith, could we not have made a bigger boat?
Just well, I certainly can, but it seemed to be the consensus that that this would suffice. Would you like me to pull over and make it larger?
Pulling over
If
is a
possible.
bit tricky as you're going across the fucking lake, you know.
Oh, we're right in the middle of the lake now.
That's why he's doing the check, because you're in the
Right.
middle of the lake.
Okay.
He is going to roll. He can't lie down. It's too small.
I mean, I could try making it bigger in the middle of the lake, but I'm not sure if that would shrink it first, and then I just.
Time for a lullaby, I feel.
I can.
It's time for the lullaby. Come here. And Adrik's gonna hug him and cover his eyes and do the lullaby.
I have a quick question. Is Zinn coming with us? Oh, Zinn's staying, isn't he?
Absolutely not. My son is staying home.
Yeah. Good.
I had a chat with Thorn before he left that she was like watch his drills and fix his fucking form.
Right. Fair enough.
I picture when we get back, he's going to be wandering around with gauze over his eyes. He's going to be like following Maith,
Right.
emulating Maith, wanting to be transformed into a mage wizard.
Right.
He hasn't quite got the hang of it, so he starts bumping into things every so often.
You guys are terrible.
He walks and says,
I'm not terrible.
Table.
Hey,
You
you're
know,
the one that
do you
you're the one
guys-
that set this all up, Russell.
Do you realize what a refrigerator would do to that boat?
Yeah.
Just go right
Just
through
hasn't
it.
gotten the hang of.
A falling refrigerator would go right through that boat. Send you all to the bottom of the lake.
Lullaby time.
No.
Lullaby
Yeah,
time.
so
okay.
Adrik's hugging him and he's like just doing the lullaby while we're going across.
All right. Adrik singing his lullaby to...
Yeah, Gudael's in the bow. She's so excited about this boat.
Right.
It's going fast, and she loves it.
It's very cool. It's sort of chopping through the water, and it's doing this. What does it say in the description about the boat? Does it go by itself, or do you have to actually propel it?
Oh.
That's you, Leith.
Yeah, you're asking me.
Yep. And Adrik, can you make a performance check?
The boat has one pair of oars and an anchor, a mast, and a lateen sail.
Okay, so it has a sail.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a boating skill that they can make a check with? Probably not.
Oh. Nothing specific.
Nothing specific. All right. Well, we'll get you to make a dexterity check then, Leith. To catch the wind.
That's a 1.
Ooh. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So the wind sort of catches the sail, and the boat starts to tip. It's kind of comes up on one side, and it's
If someone could everybody move to the other side of the boat for a moment.
Adrik, can you make it a
Please.
dexterity saving throw? And Milford, you too. One of you guys has to get this. Has to, I say. Has to.
Well, I'm rolling like shit tonight because my performance was a 4 and my dex save was a 7.
All right, dex save was a 7. Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. All right, so Milford, your dexterity saving throw. As you leap towards the rope, you get an 18. Boof. You catch the rope and cut it so that the sail goes and it just falls back to the floor of the boat, to the deck, stopping it from tipping. You're going to have to replace that bit of rope. It's really just a matter of knotting it back together again, or choosing a different rope and threading it back through again. There's no long-term damage done, but you saved the boat, Milford. Looks like the wind's going the wrong way, you suspect.
Whoops. This is the first time I've tried to use this, so sorry, everyone. Especially you, Edryn.
Adrian's screaming while Adrik's holding him.
Gudael, can you make
He's
a
just-
dex
he's
check to
just-
see whether or not you got wet on the bow of the boat? Because you were sitting up the front quite proudly, like a mermaid.
6. I got soaked.
Oh, you're soaked. Okay, so you're soaked in water. Okay, very good. All right, so eventually you get across the lake, having gotten soaked and having numerous mishaps, and the lake begins to narrow into this river. And you see a few smaller elven vessels traveling in either direction. Some of them are significantly slower than you, and some of them are similar sorts of speed as you, actually. But not magical. You see a barge coming in your direction that has a bunch of boxes on the back of it, and there's a old man with cloth wrapped around his head, not across his eyes. It's not Maith, and he's pushing the barge with a pole. And as you go further up,
a DM says that it is Maith. It is that's just Maith in disguise.
Lies. It's one of the gods' avatars. So anyway, you move further and further up the river. This takes the majority of the day before you need to rest. And you see some farmlands rolling on the sides as the forest clears for a while and the forest encroaches back in again. The trees get bigger and bigger and heavier, and in the distance you can see these 3 huge trees popping up out of the forest ahead of you, these massive trees. And those of you that are from this area recognize these as the 3 mothers of Lith'Lian. That is the city of Lith'Lian, the wood elf home. And you will have to either go through Lith'Lian or choose to get off the boat prior to Lith'Lian. That's up to you.
Would we care to travel through the wood elf city, or shall we perhaps pull over?
And Leith, you've never been there either, and you are a wood elf, which is kind of funny.
I would quite like to see it.
I have no strong feelings either way. I'm quite happy to stop. Edryn, you look like you could use a break.
We're on a river now. I'm fine.
All right then.
Just stay in the middle of us all, Edryn, and you'll be fine.
It's a river. It's perfectly. I mean, it's not. There's trees there and there. I'm fine. Just glad to be off the lake.
Okay, so open water is the worst.
Big open water, yes.
And rivers are the least worst.
Well, I mean, they're rivers. They're just little rivulets. They're fine. I'm not at all anxious on those types of bodies of water.
So it's getting late in the afternoon now, and the suns are sort of in low positions in the sky. And you can make perception checks, please. Wisdom perception checks.
There's nothing I'd like more.
Perceptione.
There's nothing Russell likes
17.
making us roll more.
17.
What? That was a 1. Another 1.
Your second one. Man.
Yeah.
18.
Where are you rolling these? I'm not seeing them, Leith. Oh, you got a 7 though, because it was a.
No,
plus,
but
plus
it was a natural 1. It was a natural 1. Yeah.
Crikey. Okay, so Leith, what happens? Where were you looking when everybody else was looking to the right? You're looking to the left.
I was fumbling, basically continuing to fumble with the mask.
Okay, so you're trying to get the sails back up again and figure out how that all works. Okay, that makes sense. Gudael, Edryn, Adrik. Oh, and I suppose I better roll for Milford Brixton. Perception. 6 for Milford. Okay, so it's Gudael, Edryn, and Adrik. You notice horses bolting through the trees on the road that's just not too far off from the river. And as you look closer, you see black guards.
Oh. Well, that didn't take long, did it?
I'm sure it's nothing. They patrol doing blackguard stuff. It's fine, mostly.
True. We have as much right as anyone to be on this river, heading to Hemoth Terrace for the festival.
Exactly.
I don't like being here. Come on, let's...
You wanting to pass on through the Lith'Lian, or folks wanting to have a quick break and stop?
Oh
inside?
no, let's have a tour. I mean, you know, Leith wants to go and tour the world, so let's go and tour it while we're here.
I'm quite happy to stop.
We have nothing to hide. We're just adventurers.
Exactly.
Serving our lady.
Well, what time of the day is it, Russell?
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. I mean, it's probably an advantageous time to, we don't necessarily want to rush all the way to Hemeth Tirith, so it might be an idea to stop in Lith'Lian for the night and enjoy some hospitality and then move on tomorrow.
Agreed. Spectacular idea, Leith.
Unless anybody is completely disagreeable to that idea.
No, we can go and have a nice meal and continue on in the morning.
Yes.
So for your information, it takes 5 hours to get across the lake and another 3 hours up the river now, to the point where it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Cool.
And how much more sailing would we be doing to get there?
To get to Lith'Lian, you could be in Lith'Lian in 2 hours, probably, by 6.
Yep. That seems about right to stop the road trip or the river trip.
Are we there yet?
So
Yeah.
so are you getting off the boat before Lith'Lian, or are you taking the boat all the way to Lith'Lian?
Take the boat all the way.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think so.
All right then. So as you approach Lith'Lian, the river traffic density gets higher. The river gets wider. The 3 mother trees, you notice their roots, these massive roots coming down into the river around you and over you, and archways, and there's even paths and things above you now. And you see a whole webbing of ropes and walkways above you as you start to get into the city itself. You see there's a dockyard, or shall we say a series of wooden platforms above the river, where boats come up and dock, and like jetties and what have you. And there's a number of barges there and other small craft. Big boats can't really travel through here. It's just not really possible. And as you approach, you notice a group of black guards at the on the jetties, searching some barrels right now. And there's an old man there and a boy who are standing by next to their river craft, watching the black guards pull apart their shipment. You pull up to the jetty, I assume. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. This is going to be interesting.
Hello. We're just stopping for the night or passing through.
Guard turns around.
May we park up?
He looks down at your boat. That's a very interesting boat, he says. I've not seen one of these for a long time. What manner of craft is this?
This is just our vessel.
I see. And who are you?
My name is Leith Leith. How do you do?
He looks at you a little bit suspiciously. Barry, I'm gonna mute you. Okay.
Do I know any sort of greeting procedures?
Yeah, you can make an etiquette sort of check. I guess that's persuasion, really. Seeing as we don't have etiquette in D&D.
10.
A 10? Yeah, he's not like amazingly convinced by your approach. He's more interested in your boat, honestly. He starts walking up and down next to it. Who built this boat?
Well, actually, I did.
Oh, you did. You're a boat builder then.
Well, I'm not a boat builder, but I'm a bit of a hobbyist.
He looks at it and he looks at you. Hobbyist.
Yes.
He says
I can be a hobbyist if I want.
he turns to his companions and he says, "Seize them." And the guards draw their weapons immediately and they start trying to surround you.
Excuse me.
Gudael.
You are in possession of one of our high lords' magical artifacts. Put your hands where I can see them.
Oh,
This boat.
You
This
did
boat-
not make... Please stop embarrassing yourself.
This
whoever
boat,
you
I
are.
will have you know, was gifted to me.
Oh, it was gifted to you. A moment ago, you made it.
Yes, well.
The end of
I-
your lies cannot be seen. Prepare yourselves for manacles.
Milady.
Yes, Edryn.
He's gonna manacle you. I think your father be very unhappy, milady.
Um,
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that they even know who they're talking to here, because I'm one of them. I mean, they would put away one of their own forest elves, wood elves. To why is it such a crime to own a boat?
Put your hands out in front of you.
Not to mention, Milady Talandarin. Shouldn't you be telling these gentlemen what we're here for?
yes, we're making our way up the river to the Festival of the Wheel.
Who are you?
My name is Gudael Talandarin.
Should I know
I am
who
a-
that is?
Oh, good sir.
You are aware of the fact that you are traveling in a magical boat belonging to King Edryn Erethani?
Considering that I am a daughter of Twilight, a cleric, and the daughter of Elendor Talandarin, I am quite aware of what we're doing, and I would ask that
My
you...
lord. Listen to me. One of the guards takes this guy off to the side for a moment. The other ones just stand there staring suspiciously. At this point, one of them has whistled, and a phalanx of soldiers have turned up with crossbows. He comes back. You're the daughter of Elandor Talandarin, you say?
That is correct.
You have proof of your noble birth, lady?
Yes, and Gudael brings out her papers.
They inspect the papers. He looks at them. Yes, this looks like it might well be true. Passes it back to you.
Will you be making your way up to the festival in Hemeth Terrath?
That is not your concern.
Oh, just thought that perhaps we could travel together, but if it's not
We
my
will not be
concern-
travelling together, milady. You have been travelling in an illegal artifact. This is not something I can let pass. You are free to go. This one,
It would
however-
happen that we are her coterie. Therefore, you should let us through, otherwise she is going nowhere.
Do you have some sort of permission to be using this vehicle, milady? Written, preferably?
To be honest, I was not aware we needed permission to use a boat.
He looks at you kind of shocked and surprised, like, really?
Yes, really.
This is some
Honestly.
brazen defiance of your father's own edicts? Are you merely in
Leith is just going
rebellion?
to turn. Leith is
My
just
father
gonna
makes
turn.
many edicts.
Leith is just going to turn to Dalla and just stare at her and go and give her a "what the fuck" kind of look.
My father makes many edicts, and I have been away from Hemeth Terrath for some time, so perhaps there is something that has not come across my desk at the Temple Solinar. Sail the boat up to Hemeth Terrath and perhaps discuss it with my father.
You cannot sail the boat to Hemeth Terrath.
Oh, sorry. You know that it's magical. We can fold it up and we'll bring it to my father.
I think what you might do is fold it up and pass it over to my care.
How many guards are there?
Enough to make life difficult. There's at least, I said a phalanx of crossbowmen, so that's like 8 crossbowmen. Plus the 3 guards that were already there, who are not crossbowmen, but actual black guards, essentially knights.
I mean, really, why are you not pulling up any of the other boats here?
Because
Why
they're
are
not
we
magical
such interest
boats,
to you?
Mr. Mistralath, clearly. Do you think we're fools? Our job pertains to the collection and finding and rooting out of traitors who have been keeping these things from our Lord. That is our job, expressly. We are trained in this business. We are not fools.
This is my boat.
I believe that the king himself might question that.
I was gifted this fair and square.
By whom?
I'm not sure you want to know.
Oh, so by perhaps another enemy of the state.
Well, no, actually.
One of the guards is basically laughing at you right now.
This boat... Steve is rapidly trying to find his notes. This boat...
Edryn remembers who the boat is from and says, I think it was just from some old strange man who Leith ended actually winning it off in a bet in Vaingate. Isn't that right, Leith?
What?
It was some fellow. We won it off in cards.
Oh, yes, I wanted it cards. Yes, I did. I'm dreadfully sorry.
He was
I'm-
rather drunk,
My,
so
my,
he's not very good at remembering.
Mr.
But
Mr.
yes,
Lath, put
my
out your
memory
hands
sometimes-
for the manacles. This is your final warning, or
excuse me,
we
I
shall
don't
take
understand
you
what-
by force. We're not here to argue with you. We're not here to have a discussion. This is the final edict.
I don't understand what I've done.
Put your hands out now.
No,
Initiative.
I will not.
Roll initiative.
Sorry, gang, but...
Nah,
Leith
dude,
is
what else are we gonna do? Like,
standing
get out and
on-
walk?
Yeah.
Like, Adrik was waiting for a play.
And a play you shall get.
Yeah. Damn, I had an idea. I really wanted to go first on this. Goddamn initiative 5.
Is everybody else rolling initiative too, or is this...
I rolled an 8.
You rolled an 8? Yep. Anybody else rolling initiative? I mean, you probably all should roll initiative.
Yeah.
Just in
Gudael really
case.
doesn't want to.
Why the
Same.
Gudael's thinking.
Damn, Edryn, for someone else to want to fight that much, you're raring to go.
He's on it. He's not letting. Everyone else is like in the moment. He's like a hawk. He's like.
Excuse me, sir. May I speak before you manacle this fool?
This is your last chance, sir. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I don't know how to say this, and my lady wouldn't want to admit it because she's such a generous person. But he's a little bit, what's the word? A little bit touched in the head, as you can see. You can see that, can't you? I know an intelligent man like yourself can see that. And he can't help it. She won't give him up. I've been trying to tell her, give him up.
Milford, can you make a performance check?
And I'm sure her father would be very thankful, you know.
I'll roll that for you. Performance.
Very, very thankful. I better get it because this is bloody good. It would be very thankful. And could the audience help me if, because, he would be. I mean, and maybe you could convince her to give him up because I haven't been able to.
So this guy's listening to your thing. So you're saying that he points to Mr. Lath. He is touched in the head.
Yes, and the boat, I really know where it came from.
Where
Can I
did it
hear?
come
Can I hear this?
Oh, it's right in front of you, dude. Yes, absolutely.
I beg your pardon. I am not touched.
I'm gonna punch him now. I'm gonna
deeply
punch him.
offended by this.
I'm
Leith,
gonna
you
hit him
must
real
admit-
hard.
Gudael's trying to calm him down, Leith down. She's like,
Milford's going to punch Leith in the head to knock him out. Is that the plan?
Yeah, yeah. With everything I got, Russell.
Fuck.
Okay, so you're going to try and knock him out.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
then. So this is an unarmed strike. It's basically a surprise attack, so I'm going to
Yes,
give you
it is.
advantage for that.
Yes.
And you're standing behind him, so it's basically a backstab as well.
Yeah.
But it's a non-lethal attack, so you'll get your
Yeah.
backstab damage, but it's all non-lethal, all right?
I'd say it's quite lethal.
If you can... Lethal. Oh, very fun.
That was good.
Thank you, Adrik. All right, so here we go. This is with advantage. Here we go. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Leith dodges this attack.
Oh, for goodness sake, he couldn't dodge breakfast.
What are you trying to do, Milford?
Typically, he wouldn't have dodged that, but not today.
I
Apparently
get by him and say in his ear, as you know, as quietly as I can, shut up.
What?
He
I got-
does often go about
Now
talking
listen,
to
listen,
unicorns in
listen.
his head. Isn't that right, Leith? You do hear a unicorn talking in your head.
So now, what were those initiative rolls that we had, by the way?
Oh, fuck.
So Edryn,
20.
20. Leith it was an 8, wasn't it? Or a 7?
Leith was an 8.
Leith
Adrik was a 5.
Yeah, it
Adrik
was.
was a 5.
Gudael got a
Oh, wait.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 5 now.
Gudael got a 15, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, and Milford, did we roll for you?
Oh.
I don't think we did, did we?
That custom roll you would have seen there was me rolling my Staff of Power.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm.
I was wondering if you're getting ready to blast someone.
Just to
Alright.
get it back up to full.
Big fat 4.
Leith is pretty pissed off at this point.
Well,
We
like
shouldn't
just
have
to put things in
stopped.
perspective, I did ask you guys very clearly what you guys
Yep.
were going to do. Were you going to go into the city, or were you going to get off the boat? Bloody blah.
It's the Wood Elf. It's the Wood Elf city.
Did
Oh,
you
Leith,
know
so
that the Black
They're the
Guard
Black
are
Guard.
chasing down artifacts? You know this. This is very clear. This has been known since day 1 of this campaign.
Okay, so I made a mistake.
You did, didn't you?
Now,
I'm gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
can I keep trying?
You want to hit him again?
No, can I keep trying to convince this guy?
You've had a good shot at it. I think there comes a point where these guards just have had enough.
All right, well,
Oh,
you guys made an attempt.
So
Gotta fight.
the first guard is going to try and grapple Leith. Okay. So you can make an athletics check, Leith.
Oh, don't ask me to make an athletics check, please. 14.
Actually, you make it.
Oh, good.
You actually get out of his hands. The next guard comes in to help him, however.
Leith is just so pissed off that he's like, "Ah! Get off me! Don't touch me!
Right,
This is my boat!"
Right, now you're grappled. All the other guards point their weapons at the rest of you and they say, put your weapons away or down. We're taking this one. We're taking the boat. If you wish to contest, you can come to Hemeth Tirith and find us at the garrison. Any questions? Nobody's saying anything.
are you not at all wondering what her father might do to you?
Doesn't matter. And when we get to Hemeth Tirith and the garrison, whose names shall we ask for?
Ask for, and one moment please, I will give you a name. Erwin Dral.
Captain,
Turns to you.
I say in Elvish.
Somebody-
As you know, this poor boy is touched.
Leith,
I
somebody
think
puts
it
a
would
bag over
be
your head.
fair.
Can speak Elvish, you know.
I'm doing it
Excellent.
for his benefit because I am a poor little human. I say in Elvis, as you can tell, this boy is touched. I think would it not be cruel for him to go out his support pet, and I pull out Tup. And I say, I think at the very least, since this poor boy does not seem to know what he's done wrong, it would be would speak
He turns to
a
you and he
kindness.
says, "You wouldn't be a magic user, would you?"
Oh no, I simply found this badger. I come from Vanderhold.
Vanderhold. It's a long way from home, young lad. He says, despite
That's
your
the
apparent
first time.
age.
I was about to say it's the first time I've ever been called young, so thank you very much, sir. No, it's he's an old companion of mine from Vanderhold, and
Put
the
your
boy's taken
hands
a shining to
on
him.
the bench now.
Okay.
They begin to search you. What are these? He pulls out some of your spell components, puts them out from your various packages, bags and things, pouches, start pulling out your spell components and putting them down next to you. What are these? What's this?
Spell components.
Spell components. And which particular art is it that you are a practitioner of?
Charm person on the guy that's holding me.
You've got a hood over your head.
Conjuration. I make
You-
little party tricks.
Party tricks.
Yeah.
Bag him.
Would you like to see one?
They pull a bag over your
Okay.
head too. You never know, it might be easier to get into the sufferance than you think.
Thinking that.
It wasn't my
But
plan.
I figure out
but-
what Adrik would do here. I'm like, he clearly Adrik hates us. He doesn't want them to go. His instinct is to grab them and pull them back in the boat. But he also doesn't want to be a fucking pincushion.
Right.
Hmm.
So, are you going to resist at this point, Edryn?
Nope.
No? Alright. So, Edryn and Leith, with your hoods on, you are marched off. And you feel yourselves being taken and put on a wagon. And the wagon is then ridden away. What the rest of you notice and see is the soldiers also take the boat. They take custody of the boat. They place guards on the boat. They don't know what to do with it. They don't seem to know how to control it. That's the thing that you do realize, is they don't really know what it is or how it works, but they know they kind of know what it is, but they don't know how it works.
How did they know it was magic?
Good question.
Well, gang,
Yeah, that's the question. It really is. Anyway.
I suppose we should rent a boat and continue to Hemeth Terrath.
As I said before, you can't get to Hemeth Tirith by boat.
Oh, apologies.
Tup starts
Okay.
pawing at Adrik.
Excuse me, my lord.
Sorry, Tup.
We
Sorry.
get going.
Aye, let's get some
So, Tup's...
horse.
So, Edryn, I'm assuming you're possessing Tup.
No, that's just what Tup would do.
Okay, I was going to say, if you want to, you could possess Tup for like 5 minutes before you go beyond the range of Tup's possessable powers. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't know what Adrik would do as he's doesn't know what he'd. Oh, actually, Tup will just run after the cart at a distance.
Okay.
How many people did we see on the cart?
No, you didn't see. Oh, you might have seen on the cart. Yeah, there's a number of guards. There's 5 guards. 3 of them are the actual black guards.
Adrik's gonna turn to Brixton and Gudael. 2 thoughts. We can follow and do as the... Well, I'd imagine we're now out of earshot of the other guards first. We can do as the law permits and do that. Or we can follow Tup and get a bit of practice at breaking people out of things and breaking Blackguard.
It's not gonna work. Did you see how many there are?
There are 5 left on that. 5 left on that. That there.
How many do you think they could get to their position?
Alone in the wilderness?
This is Blackguard territory. They practically come out of the woodwork.
I defer to your expertise on this Brixton.
We got a mission
to be fair, Brixton has never left Vaingate before, so
him, this is Blackguard territory.
Right. So Brixton is clearly being super paranoid.
They can't have patrols together all the time.
They know magic. They're all well trained. You're not dealing with normal soldiers.
3 of them aren't normal, aye. But you and I beat the crap out of God, what's his name? The new king, I forget his name. God, Bregan. We kicked the crap out of Bregan. We can handle 3 lesser fighters.
What worlds were you in? Because that wasn't how I saw that fight.
There was 2 of us, one of him.
What we're going to do, we're going to do this. We're going to carry out our mission. We're going to meet her father. And then she's going to do the, Daddy, I have some friends who got themselves in trouble. Can you get them out? Please, Daddy.
Dala, how likely is that to work?
She's... Have you ever seen a father and his daughter?
No.
Well, fathers often give in to their daughters, as far as I know. Now,
Dala, is that your experience?
She's gonna do the cry thing. And then if that doesn't work, she'll go to her mother and do the cry thing. And I can bet you the real boss of that house is her mother.
The truth is that, Dala, you might not even know what would happen because you've never been in a position where you've had to do something quite as extreme as this before in your life. The only other thing that comes close to this is when you've had visions in the past and you've done, weird stuff, wandered off in the middle of the night and that sort of thing. And he's gotten you out of trouble with, the locals. And never been especially happy about it, to be fair. But that being said, he hasn't been particularly harsh about it either.
And also, she's going to bring up the fact that these people have saved her life in a few adventures. And they saved her from a deadly situation once. So she owes them. So she felt compelled to have them with her. And he'll go, this is my daughter getting into more trouble as per usual.
Our window to get that caravan is quickly narrowing and closing. Dala, I leave this to you. Is this something that you think might work, or do you think we're better off taking the caravan?
It might work. I really don't know.
Okay. Cut for a moment. Edryn and Leith, you're on the back of this cart, right? The wheels are spinning. You can hear it. It's rocking around you, blindfolded. And then you hear... And then you hear this commotion going around you and weapons being drawn and people shouting and screaming and then silence. And then...
Adrik, I'm over here. I'm joking, obviously.
At which point,
Adrik.
you feel the manacles on your wrists Lucen.
I say, will you please... Who is that?
You hear galloping horse sounds disappearing off into the woods.
I'll take my bag off
You are
and then take
surrounded.
Leith's off.
Right. You both find yourselves sitting on the back of a cart, surrounded
Lucen hasn't come off.
surrounded by the corpses of the Black Guards.
Oh. I'll stand up and try to see what galloped away. If it's still in.
You can make a perception
Insight.
alertness, wisdom perception check.
Perception.
If I say perception,
They
alertness, you know
say-
what I mean.
Did they say anything? The people who... Were there any commands or...
You didn't hear anything like that.
17.
17. You see a black shape disappear off into the forest.
Humanoid.
Horsenoid.
Human and horse-anoid?
More horsenoid and not so human.
Oh.
Would you describe them as patron-looking?
Somewhat patron-looking.
Ah, I see.
Oh.
He got a horn, and I
Everyone knows that the best lockpicks for manacles are horns.
Right. And knock spells.
Also that.
Yes.
well, I suppose we should,
Do I suspect that it's Tozen?
In fact, the corpses, you realize, are not corpses. They're just asleep.
do I get out of?
One of them is beginning to wake up.
Edryn, shh. I think we should run.
Or kill
them. Wait, we should grab our stuff.
Yeah, so just gather up all our gear.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all asleep. Let's go.
One of them's starting to wake up. What was that?
Get off the cart. Get off the cart. I'll jump off the cart.
Right.
I'll jump off the cart.
Yep.
And I will slam my my staff down and fireball the entire cart.
Okay. You can roll to hit with advantage, please.
It's not a roll to hit.
Not a roll to hit. Okay.
It's a
Saving throw.
dexterity saving throw.
Right.
So
Well, everybody's unconscious, so they don't get to make saving throws. So they're all going to take full damage.
Yep.
Well, the one that was just beginning to wake up, he can make a saving throw with disadvantage.
Yep. 35.
He rolls a 2. 35 points of damage. Okay. Yeah, they're not very happy. Let me just check my encounter. 3 of the 4 are clearly decimated. One of them is trying to get up from behind the cart and is putting themselves out and drawing a sword.
I'm not looking further. I just shout Edryn, run! And I will run the direction that I believe the river to be.
Okay. All right. So can you make a nature check, please?
It's nearly a 20. It was a 2, so that's a 6.
A 6? A 6, you say?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Right. You're not really sure where the river is, so you go running off in one direction or another. You find yourself amongst some trees, and it's sort of a little bit swampy over here. But you're definitely
not
away
still
from
in
the
the-
road.
We're not still in the town,
No.
in the city. Okay.
No.
Is Edryn following?
Yep. Actually, very quickly, before I do, since you got to cast a spell,
Yep.
I'm going to be a sneaky. I am going to, because we recovered our stuff, I'm going to, because we were able to get away a bit, I assume, because he fireballed the fucking cart. How many of them can I hit with a 15-foot cone?
Well, there's only one that's really alive.
Okay. That one.
Yep.
That's alive. That one can. I'm going to pull out my hands. I'm going to. I don't need to use anything. I'm going to rub my hands together.
Notice this. You have no components on you.
Don't need components. I also thought we grabbed out. That's why we said we were grabbing our stuff back.
Grab your stuff back. That's true.
I don't need them anyway. I'm going to rub my hands together, blow, and I'm going to cast Burning Hands.
Okay.
So it's a 15-foot cone. Can I make a dex saving throw?
Right. And he makes it with disadvantage, and he manages to roll 2 2s, so he fails. So is it, what, 3d6?
So he takes... I'm casting it at 3rd level, so he takes 18 points of fire damage.
Oh, well, okay.
And then I'm going to book it with Leith.
Right.
So when he cast his fireball and ran, I'm doing Burning Hands and then following him.
Right. Okay. 35 plus 18 is... What does that add up to?
53.
53?
I think. Yeah.
Okay. You just kill him. Just kill him.
I'm still running with Leith.
All right, so you and Leith are heading back towards Lith'Lian at this point. Okay? And you see the city through the trees. You head down, you find the river, you follow the river back to Lith'Lian. And you're going to break back into Lith'Lian any moment now. What are you guys doing who are still back at Lith'Lian?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Shall we look into transport first? At least feel like we are being proactive. See if we can get a carriage, horses, do what we need to do, and then make a plan from there. At least we're making forward steps, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, Brixton.
What?
Don't be blaming yourself for this. What were you gonna do?
Can you guys that are there make perception alertness checks? Adrik, Gudael, Milford.
Perception alertness?
Sorry, wisdom perception. If I say perception alertness, it's because I play too much Vampire the Masquerade, which is the equivalent check in that game.
7.
16 for Milford. Okay, 7 for Adrik, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Milford and Gudael, what do you notice? Gudael, what do you see? What do you get?
22.
22. So Milford and Gudael, you notice that there's a lady looking down over a balcony down at you. She looks very regal and seems to have some bearing. She seems to have been watching this situation, and she looks around and then she starts coming down the stairs towards you. She winds her way down the various swing bridges and rope bridges and things to get to you. And she steps down onto the platform.
A noble wood elf?
Yeah. She's got things in her hair, tied into her hair and things. She seems to have some sort of regal bearing, though. Her robes suggest thus. And she says, "Good afternoon, fellows. My name is Vashti Windwalker.
Good afternoon, Lady Windwalker.
I am the apothecary here. Would either of you or any of you require safety or assistance?"
We could perhaps use a place to sleep this evening, aye. If that's what you're offering.
Yes, if you wish. So would you like to come upstairs?
Aye, I don't see the harm in it.
I can give you somewhere to stay and a warm drink for your troubles, if you wish.
That would be very welcome. We've had a wee bit of disappointment today.
Very good. And she looks around and she says, she looks over to this young lad that's leaning over another balcony. She beckons him down, and he comes down and she says, "I want you to stay here and watch for their companions, and if they come, bring them to us." And the boy nods. And then she takes you upstairs to her house, which is among the trees, way up among the trees. And indeed, it is an apothecary's room. When you go in a shop, high among the trees, actually built into the trunk of one of the three mothers. And you go inside, and it's about 3 floors high within, but it's quite narrow, with lots of levels. And our other friends, you come back to Lith'Lian, I assume. Leith and Edryn.
Leith, do you think we should go back now that the guards know our faces?
Well, I really think we need to get back with the rest of the group, but I'm not sure we're welcome in the city. Do you feel you might be able to maybe send Tup in to try and find them?
Yes, he could. He's got a good nose. I'm sure if he can pick up one of their scents, Adrik's scent, then he could probably track him to somewhere.
That might work.
Right. Picked up. Turn him around so he's kind of just facing me. So you need to go smell Adrik.
Adrik?
Adrik. Go to where we were arrested. Smell for Adrik, and when you find out where he is, come back to us and lead the way. All right? Got that, little buddy?
All right.
Give him a
Well,
little scratch on the head and send him off.
all right. And with that, we shall call it quits tonight. Thank you, everybody. And we shall reconvene at the point where you guys all enter into Vashti Windwalker's apothecary shop. Okay? Thank you everyone for playing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, etc. Check out the links below, especially the Gaming for Charity link, which, again, this is my judgment face. I'm judging you if you don't go and spend money. Like $1, for God's sake, $1 is all you don't have to donate $30 to $30. You can spend $1 on Gaming for Charity. I mean, I did. I spent $5, and that's pretty tight, isn't it? I mean, really. So you don't have to donate your personal fortune or anything. So anyway, it's there if you want to, and I encourage you to do that. But again, thank you all for watching. Thanks for playing. Anyone else want to throw in any final words?
Adrik's gonna be weeping into his cup. He misses Leith and Edryn.
Aww.
He feels incredibly guilty.
Oh no.
Yeah, Gudael's feeling pretty rotten too.
I think
I should have pulled them back into the boat.
I think Leith is feeling pretty damn rotten about leading everybody into this mess in the first place as well. So
Dull.
I should have smashed the jetty with my hammer.
This is Milford Brixton saying to all the fans, please put into that charity, because kids really, really need it.
It's true. For the Starship Hospital, Kids Hospital in Auckland, New Zealand. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all once more, and we are out. Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.